The internet is once again shaken by a disturbing headline, this time involving Joseph Duggar, a former face of the widely watched reality show 19 Kids and Counting. A name that was once associated with a picture-perfect, values-driven family image is now at the center of serious criminal allegations, and the details emerging are deeply unsettling. According to authorities, Joseph Duggar, now 31, was arrested on March 18, 2026, in connection with an alleged incident that dates back several years. Investigators say the case revolves around events that reportedly took place during a family vacation in Florida in 2020. At that time, the alleged victim was just 9 years old. What makes this even more chilling is that the case remained hidden for years, until the victim, now older, came forward and shared her account during a forensic interview, prompting law enforcement to reopen the investigation. Authorities allege that during that vacation, Duggar engaged in inappropriate behavior with the child while they were in a shared family setting. Reports indicate that he allegedly attempted to get physically close to the child multiple times during the trip. Investigators claim that the situation escalated when he covered them with a blanket and engaged in inappropriate conduct. Now here's where the case takes an even more serious turn. According to officials, after the victim disclosed the incident, her father confronted Duggar directly. And investigators say that Duggar allegedly admitted to his actions, not only to the father, but also later to detectives. This alleged admission has become a key element in the case as it moves forward. Duggar is now facing multiple charges, including lewd and lascivious molestation of a minor under the age of 12, charges that carry severe legal consequences under U.S. law. He is currently in custody and is expected to be extradited to Florida, where the alleged incident took place and where the legal proceedings will unfold. But to understand why this story is exploding across headlines worldwide, you have to look beyond just this single case and examine the broader context of the Duggar family's public history. For years, the Duggar family built a massive following through reality television, presenting themselves as a symbol of strict discipline, faith-based living, and traditional family values. Millions of viewers followed their daily lives, parenting style, and beliefs. However, this is not the first time the Duggar name has been linked to controversy. In fact, many people immediately connected this case to the earlier scandal involving Joseph's older brother, Josh Duggar. Back in 2021, Josh Duggar was convicted in a federal case involving illegal material related to minors and was sentenced to more than 12 years in prison. That case alone had already severely damaged the family's reputation and led to the cancellation of their shows. Now, with Joseph Duggar facing his own allegations, a bigger and more uncomfortable question is being raised. Are these isolated incidents, or do they point toward deeper systemic issues within the environment in which these individuals were raised? That question is now being debated widely across social media, news platforms, and public discussions. Another aspect that adds complexity to this story is Duggar's personal life. Unlike some of his siblings who remained highly public figures, Joseph had stepped back from the spotlight in recent years. He is married and has multiple children, living a relatively private life in Arkansas. But this arrest has suddenly pulled him back into global attention, this time under deeply troubling circumstances. The timing of this case also highlights something experts frequently point out. Cases involving minors often take years before victims feel safe enough to speak out. The delay between the alleged incident in 2020 and the report in 2026 is not unusual in such cases. It reflects the psychological and emotional complexity involved, especially when the accused is someone known to the victim. From a legal standpoint, cases like this are often built on a combination of testimony, behavioral patterns, and corroboration, rather than immediate physical evidence, especially when years have passed. The fact that authorities have moved forward with charges suggests they believe there is sufficient evidence to present the case in court. At the same time, It's important to remember that this is still an ongoing legal process. Allegations, no matter how serious, must be tested in a court of law, and the final outcome will depend on the judicial proceedings ahead. Public reaction has been intense and divided. Many former fans of the Duggar family have expressed shock, disappointment, and anger. Others are focusing on the broader societal issues this case highlights. How fame, power structures, and close-knit family environments can sometimes delay accountability or make it harder for victims to come forward. This case is also reigniting conversations about how media portrays perfect families, and whether such portrayals can sometimes mask deeper issues. Reality television often shows a curated version of life, and when real-world allegations surface, it creates a stark contrast between image and reality. As of now, Duggar remains in custody, and the next steps will involve extradition, court hearings, and possibly a trial. Legal experts suggest that high-profile cases like this can take months or even years to fully resolve, especially when they involve complex evidence and testimonies. So what happens next? The answer lies in the courtroom. Prosecutors will present their case, the defense will respond, and the judicial system will determine the outcome based on evidence and law. But regardless of the final verdict, the impact of this case is already being felt across media, public discourse, and the legacy of a once famous family. And perhaps the most important takeaway from all of this is the reminder that behind every headline like this, there are real people, real consequences, and serious issues that go far beyond entertainment or celebrity. This story is still developing, and the world will be watching closely as more details emerge.